disturbing universe.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I am your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve. And I'm here with my pal, Mr. Gopher. Say hi, Mr. Gopher.
Oh, Mr. Gopher. Ah! Dude, what the hell? You almost knocked me over.
Actually, I did knock you over, but thanks to the miracle of editing, you're back on your feet. How do you like that? Anyway, this is one of those weeks where I had no clue what I was going to do for my video. But the other day, I watched a video with a thread that not too many people have jumped on yet. But I decided I would jump on that thread. And that thread is called Show Me Your Actors. And it's about records made by actors who also dabbled in music. You know, William Shatner, stuff like that. This should be fun, so stick around. Just keep watching, we'll see what happens. Show us your actors. That's a thread that Doug Anderson started on his channel. And I saw like one or two other people get on this thread, and I thought, okay, this might be something kind of interesting. And it's show records by actors who also sing, or who tried to sing and made albums. And I'm going to start with this compilation because this was for a lot of people back in the day. This was an intro to this sort of thing. This is called Golden Throats, the Great Celebrity Sing-Off. Came out on the Rhino label, and it's a compilation of some of the more wacky tracks in this genre, like Leonard Nimoy, Sebastian Cabot, William Shatner, Jack Webb, Mae West, Andy Griffith, Jim Nabors, who my grandmother thought was a good singer for some reason. So I guess singers who also did some acting don't count. So Frank Sinatra doesn't count. The Monkees, they were singing and acting at the same time, so I'm not sure. The Archies, they were just cartoons. So I don't know, are cartoons sentient? I think there was a Next Generation episode about that. Partridge Family, maybe. But I don't think that's really what they wanted in that thread. I think what they were really talking about was stuff like this. William Shatner, the transformed man, with his spoken word bits and dramatic interpretations of songs like Mr. Tambourine Man and Lucy in the Sky. This was, I think, the first CD version of this that ever came out. It was a bootleg, which also included the two sides of Leonard Nimoy album, which is the one with Bilbo Baggins. Mae West, Way Out West. And it says, come on up and rock with me on the Tower label, which was a division of Capitol. And yeah, she's back. She does some rock songs. She does Day Tripper, Twist and Shout, Shaking All Over, When a Man Loves a Woman. This is a fun, silly, and easy to find record. Michael Parks, actor in the 60s. He was on some TV shows, and he made some albums of country music for MGM in the late 60s. But you might know Michael Parks as the French guy in Twin Peaks second season, or the cop who gets killed in the convenience store in From Dusk Till Dawn.
How much you want for that hooch, Pete?
Oh, $6.50.
Jesus Christ. You bucking for early retirement?
Shit, yeah.
Okay, it's Richard Harris. He was in A Man Called Horse and some other movies, made a few albums. Of course, his big hit song, MacArthur Park, written by Jimmy Webb, kind of took on a life of its own where people don't really think of this as a singing actor record. This is a Pickwick label reissue from the 80s without the gatefold cover. If that matters to you. I don't know. This is one of my dad's records. All right. Well, we got to get Leonard Nimoy in there. Leonard Nimoy, The Way I Feel. I could have shown Mr. Spock's Music from Outer Space, but somebody else already showed that. But this one has Where It's At, and his version of Both Sides Now, where his voice kind of teeters between both sides of the notes without actually hitting. No. I love Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock. You the man. Sebastian Cabot, actor. Bob Dylan, poet. Yes, indeed. He was on the sitcom Family Affair. I don't know if he did much. I don't know what else he did. Let me know in the comments. But again, on MGM. And he's not so much singing as just kind of doing these dramatic readings of Bob Dylan songs with an orchestra behind him. No, it ain't me, babe. Archie Bunker himself, Carol O'Connor, Remembering You. He made this record for A&M. And he's singing songs from the 1930s and 40s and kind of talking about them a little bit. And I think it started when he wrote lyrics to the closing theme of the All in the Family TV show. Before I go any further, I want to say, yeah, he did bad things and hurt people. And yeah, fuck this guy. But I do want to mention that these records exist because I have them in my collection in case people are at my house and I need them to leave. Bill Cosby made 2 albums where he sang. Silver Throat, which is actually pretty straightforward. He's doing like blues songs like Jimmy Reed and stuff like that. And Hooray for the Salvation Army Band, which is a little more comedic. So one cool thing about this record is that he's backed up by the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band. But, oh my God, bad. It was 20 years ago today. Sergeant Pepper told the band to play. All right, one last one. I'm not sure if this counts because I think maybe she started singing before she started acting. Julie Budd. She was the child actor singer that appeared on the Merv Griffin show in the 60s. Again, MGM was just pumping these things out, you know. I guess that was Mike Kerb's grand vision to get rid of the Velvet Underground and Frank Zappa and like make some real money. But anyway, so Julie Budd, yeah. So she on this record she does like Black is Black and People Are Strange. Anyway, the reason I bring this record up is if you've seen a Disney movie from the 80s called The Devil and Max Devlin, where Bill Cosby plays an agent of Satan sent to convince Elliot Gould to recruit some young people to sell their souls to Satan. And one of them is this girl who wants to be a singer and is played by Julie Budd. Speaking of Bud, this edible is starting to kick in, so I'm going to turn off the camera. Maybe listen to, not these. What should I listen to? Maybe Nimoy. Or the Monkees. Frank Sinatra. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, so I got the first half of the video.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Super Gopher.
Oh, yeah. That's just fine. Come on, boys. Just one more time.
We were so close, there was no room. We bled inside each other's wounds.
Okay, well, I just want to take a couple minutes here and say, rest in peace, Melanie Safka, known as just Melanie on most of her albums. She just passed away recently, and most people kind of think of her as a one-hit wonder for her song Brand New Key. I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key, which was on her album Gather Me, which I don't have to show you, but I do have the 45 of Brand New Key with Some Say I Got Devil as the B-side. But yeah, that's the song most people remember her for. But that's not her best song, in my opinion. In my opinion, her most important song is Lay Down Candles in the Rain, which is a song she wrote about performing at Woodstock, and it's on her album titled Candles in the Rain. Also, again, I have the 45, don't have the album to show you. And if you remember last week, I was talking about Are You Ready by Pacific Gas and Electric, and how that was kind of part of a fusion of rock and gospel music that was kind of happening for a while in the early 70s, late 60s, you know, with bands like the Chambers Brothers and even like this song, I've Got Enough Heartache by Spooky Tooth that Three Dog Night covered. But probably the best of the gospel music influenced rock songs is this song Lay Down. And so it turns out there's an 8-minute long version of this song. It's not on the Candles in the Rain album. The 8-minute long version of Lay Down Candles in the Rain is on this double album compilation called Four Sides of Melanie. And it's got one of the most convoluted gatefolds ever made. See, it's got a little flap. I'm going to bump into the camera here. So you open it like this. And there's a record in there. And then this opens up. You get a nice picture of her. And then you fold that back down and go like that. And then, wait, how does this, and there's another flap. And then you get the other record and this other flap here. I wonder what this is. I guess, yeah. All right. Rest in peace, Melanie. And if you like the one or two songs of hers you have heard, then it's worth it to dig into the rest of her catalog. Peace. I don't know if that's really enough, though. I don't know if that's really enough. I'm not sure. What else?
Hey, Steve, I think you have some leftovers from last week.
Yeah, I do. There's a little bit of footage from last week that I didn't use. Maybe I can just drop that in. Climax Golden Twins, who are an experimental noise kind of band. And this is a really interesting record to space out to. The first side has got some kind of harsh noise and low frequencies on it. The second side gets more spacey and meditative. Here, Hot Tuna and Hopcorv. And this is, what year? Like 1978. Hot Tuna. If you don't know, Hot Tuna is Jack Cassidy and Jorma Kaukonen, who were in Jefferson Airplane. And when the rest of Jefferson Airplane became Jefferson Starship, these guys formed a band called Hot Shit. And RCA Records said, we're not going to be able to sell that in the malls if you don't change your name. So they changed it to Hot Tuna. And this album is more bluesy hard rock than the acoustic folky stuff on some of their early albums. You know, they do like I Wish You Would and Can't Be Satisfied. It's So Easy. This rocks. I was pleasantly surprised by how hard this record rocks. I got to put on 3D glasses and see. Uriah Heep Live, January 1973. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Uriah Heep were the real life Spinal Tap. And I mean that as a compliment. And, you know, if you like that, you know, they've got kind of a deep purplish organ sound and some harmonies in the vocals. And, you know, I had a few of their albums, but this is This is a live album that turns up. It's cheap heat, and it's, you know, it's got a lot of their best tunes from their early period on Mercury Records. Another one I kind of snoozed on and decided to pick up. Genesis, 3 Sides Live. You know, and get my American Psycho on. But this is from 1982, and it's literally like, it's a double album. The first 3 sides are live, and then the 4th side is some like B-sides and outtakes. And it's like 1981 tour, like around the time Abacab came out. I learned that there's another version of this album that's all 4 sides live and has more proggy tracks like Watcher of the Skies on the 4th side. That seems fascinating. But yeah, you know, if you think the late 70s, early 80s, like Phil Collins led Genesis albums are too slick, there's a lot more punch to these live versions. This is pretty cool. All right. And last but not least, this was like $1. I could not pass this up. Pavarotti singing O Sole Mio. Oh, Sole Mio. Stop. 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 Okay, well, that's my video for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, give it a like, you know, and it'll help the algorithm, and it'll also save it in case you want to, like, you know, get back to it, you know, investigate further. If you're new here, you know, maybe watch some of my other videos because they might be better than this. Thank you so much. If you made it this far through the video, then that means you're special. And thank you. All right. Well, that's it for this week. Peace, everybody.